start the recording right now. And thank you. We're going to start the music and let's get this going. Can you hear that? It's a very classy show. We have our own TikTok to introduce us. I'm waiting for us to stream. Come on, YouTube, you can do this. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is my theme song, So You Wanna Be. I wrote the lyrics, and my friend Serge Huffman in Paris wrote the music, and he sings it, and he composed it. Looking real. Cool and fine. Ooh. Wait for the drum roll. My sticks are in the other room with my drum kit. Here we go. Here we go. Bop, 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 bop. Thank you very much to Serge, and thank you to me for writing those lyrics. I'm here. I'm Bonnie D, and we have the wonderful Jen C with us today. I haven't seen her in at least 9 or 10 years. She wrote a book years ago, and she pitched my creativity show. Jen, it's called Creativity Show now. And I met her, and we've stayed in touch, and she is a guru. She is a smart, savvy, caring, compassionate, very intelligent lady. And I reached out to her recently, and I said, Jen, do you want to come on and be one of my saucy dames? And she said, heck yes. So here we are. How are you, Jen?
I'm good. I've said this to you before. And by the way, I think the last time we saw each other was 2019. Well, we didn't see. I was on your show because I was at a retreat in West Virginia and we had no signal. And I had to drive to like the bunkhouse and somebody had to let me in special. I don't know if you remember this. And you're like, are you okay?
No.
Do you need to reschedule? I'm like, I'm not rescheduling. I'm here. It's good. Been playing in the dirt all day. So anywhere you go, I'm happy to follow.
You're sweet. Let me do my opening and sit back because this is all about you. You may know us well, Bonnie D and Jen C. Two sauce. It's Coken, by the way, Coken. Two. Two saucy dames. That's TOOO in caps, kids, not just the number two. Living our passions true. We're here today in social's virtual embrace, sharing our insights in this very special space. Welcome to We Dish, where we've come to play, lightening up life in our uniquely fresh way. Welcoming Gen C to my live streaming latitude. After my rhyming intro, she may add more with attitude. Here we go. From Newark streets to Pawpaw's town, Jen learned young how her world could frown. At 3 years old, kids came to her door, seeking to see a Jew's horns they'd learned from lore. Yet wonder bloomed throughout her childhood days. Kellogg's field trips, sweet cereal craze. Though fitting in proved tough at times, Jen found her place through band's proud chimes. Her parents split, her world upturned, but step-parents came, new bonds were discerned. A family rebuilt, uniquely designed, 4 parents, step-siblings, love was intertwined. Jen then went from theater dreams to politics bold. Dr. Fischel's words struck deep and took hold. Do all you can for your community's need. Jen chose public service, a path for her to lead. With PRGS perks, Jen fought for water and air. Then she led students with passion and care. At hunger strikes, her voice rang true. Applause erupted. Her mission grew. Jen built from scratch a cause profound, a hunger center where hope was found. But too young, too female, she was dismissed in the fray. Jen left on her own terms and found a new way. Through coaching, consulting, nonprofit might, she trained leaders by day and by night. Landmark shaped her, but her spirit cried for energy, for wholeness, so she turned the tide. Laid off the day before her book was released, from her mother's cancer a truth was pieced. When I die, take my panties, her mom said with grace. It was a bold, raw title. Grief Jen chose to face. Her book gave voice to women's pain and spread awareness, clear and plain. By 2019, Jen's new mission was clear. Coach women in spaces where men held the gear. Restore leadership with a matriarch's art. Power from wholeness, truth from her heart. When her own cancer came, Jen withstood. Radiance grew, her anthem strong and good. One day reminded her she must stay for love, for purpose, to live another day. An anecdote here that needs to be told. where Jen's living life out front and bold. She just told me this the other day. At the recent Singer-Songwriters Festival, a chance glance came. Jen spotted a red-curled woman of quiet fame, not me. 'Twas Tilla Sillers, a songwriter well known, whose I Hope You Dance song put Jen in the zone. Tia sang that night while the crowd buzzed loud, but Jen held the silence, stood firm, unbowed. Your presence anchored me, Tia told Jen true, a reminder of what our connections can do. We never know the impact we bring. It may be a glance, a smile, or a wing. Presence alone can transform a space, a quiet gift, a lasting grace. Now 61 strong by Chesapeake's shore, Jen sings, Jen writes, Jen loves, and more. Her story's alive, her mission's not done. A TOO saucy dame rising, fierce as the sun. Jen, welcome.
Aw, that brought a little tear to my eye because for so many reasons. Thank you so much. It's so beautiful. And the anniversary of my mother's death is the day after tomorrow.
Okay.
So it's just kind of it's been a week of memories about
Here,
her and reminders, sweet
here we
reminders.
are. Good. I'm going to finish that part. So here we are on We Dish, chatting on life's score, culture, music, food, and oh, so much more. Join us live or on demand, day or night. That's why they invented on demand. And enjoy our dishing with shared delight. Meet us for real in our live streaming glow. Comments are welcome. Just play nice. We know who you are, you know. We Dish, two saucy dames, Bonnie D and Jen C, dishing on life's fun. This rhymes with the you know of the line before, pour vous. Okay, I missed the rhyme there. Jen, it's lovely. Oh, it rhymed with two. I'm so happy to see you. And you know what? I'm glad we stayed in touch because life gets busy. You haven't been on my show in many years, and your newsletters arrive with such zest and such style and so much class. And you have a way of writing. And I read what you send. I never unsubscribed because
Mm.
I enjoy what you send. And I get a lot of stuff in my inbox. And it says Jen. I said, you know, I really like what she's doing. I have to get in touch with her. And here you are.
And here I
So
am.
now tell me, I tried to cover the whole life story you sent me.
You
And
did.
I want to know, is there anything in there that you'd like to embellish, enhance, anything that we missed that you'd like to add? Go ahead.
Well, let's see. The first thing to say is I've always subscribed to your newsletters too, and I've never unsubscribed because there's always something interesting and fun. And I'm like, what is Bonnie D up to now? That crazy redhead that I met at the Publicity Summit in New York City in October of 2016. So that's funny that we both. So thank you for
Thank you.
that.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for those kind words. I
yeah,
appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah.
I get a
Def-
couple of unsubscribes out of 1,100 people that receive it every Monday, and I get a couple of unsubscribes. Usually, oh, I get too many emails. I was okay, fine. I won't. And I said, go away, go do your thing, happy life, and that's it. So
yeah.
thank you. I'm glad we stayed in touch. That's the bottom line, right?
Me too. Me too.
Sharing.
Nothing. Well, the only other thing I'll add is that something I shared with you when we were just catching up right before we went live, which is my book, my new book, Make Imposter Syndrome Your Superpower, which came out in March. I just got word on Saturday that it's being translated into Arabic. And my publisher, and I didn't do anything. The publisher, I opened up this email, pop, and the publisher sent it to, I don't know how many of us, but he said Jair is the name of the Arabic publisher. It's the largest publisher of Arabic books. And mine's going to be one of them, which is so amazing to me.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
These are the little things that are actually big things that stoke us, don't they?
They do.
You and I both have a fire. We're two saucy dames.
We
I'm
are.
going to get the way the TOO. Yes, we are, but we still require a way to stoke that fire, I think. We aren't not just sitting on a pier somewhere saying, oh, I did some good stuff. You're still going, you're thriving, you're moving, you're doing things, you're writing. I've got 5 shows right now. I'm doing 8 shows a week. And I work for a big technology publishing company, and I moderate 5-hour courses once or twice a week. We are still
We're
thriving.
doing it. Yeah. I mean, it's so interesting that we talked about this because, my first book, When I Die, You Take My Panties, is now a script. And I have a producer and we're packaging it to shop it around. We have an idea for a director where we're going to film it, et cetera. One of the things I did though, because the first book was a memoir,
Mm-hmm.
And my only reason in writing it was to educate more women, as you know, about ovarian
Mm-hmm.
cancer. And I know
Yeah.
of 3 women that were diagnosed stage 1, which was beautiful.
Mm.
Every time I'd look to heaven and say, Mom, thank you. And I always wanted it to be a movie just to get to more people. But the
Sure.
last thing I wanted was to have my book on screen because it's kind of a bummer. Spoiler alert,
Mm.
the
Yes.
main character dies at the end.
Yeah.
So instead, it has become this love letter to aging authentically instead of gracefully. I think aging gracefully is a load of crap. I mean, yes, we all like to be graceful. I think the most important thing is you age authentically for how you want to be. You don't have to look a certain way or do anything different. You want to keep working, you want to keep doing what you're passionate
We
about,
do.
and it feeds your soul. Do it. Age has nothing to do with it. Age is simply a number. Seriously.
I go back to Frank Sinatra's one of his favorite songs. I did it my way.
Yeah.
That's what do you think this show is? I'm doing it my way. I want to talk to smart people, saucy dames. I have a spin-off from this called Two, T-O-O, Saucy Dame plus a Cool Dude. I've just booked my 50th Cool Dude. My goal was 50 guys in 1 year, and November will be the 1 year anniversary of that spin-off, and I just booked my 50th guy.
I love
And
it.
and we talk, and I think you're about the 20th woman, and I've done about 60 shows with various women altogether. Some of them did 10 or 15 already. So, yeah, I did it my way. Isn't that what we're talking
That's what
about?
we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
And it's
really
actually the crux of the coaching that I provide when I'm coaching teams or people, and
yeah.
people ask me, what do you do? I said, it's simple. I create cultures where people love coming to work. And what that takes is us to be authentic, except if you Google the word or if you Google the phrase how to be authentic, there's 33 million hits on Google. What does that tell you? Nobody knows because they're looking in the wrong place. They're looking outward instead of inward. And isn't that what I did it my way is about, is having being so connected to who you are that you give more credence to what you want versus people's opinions,
That's true. But
right?
we know that it works when you have compassion behind that doing it your way and when you have caring behind doing it
Yes.
that way. And by
Yes.
the way, I gave up on the word authentic a couple of years ago, and my version of it is real deal with a hyphen. Be a real deal. REAL dash RE. DEAL, and
Interesting.
that's how I express it because I just wanted to it just real deal is what's the deal? We're being real, and
Being real.
that's
Yeah.
how I do it. So anyway, same concept, same
Same
concept. So
concept. I embrace the word. Like, there's certain words people, oh, you shouldn't say that, which there are certain words you shouldn't say and certain things you shouldn't say. But I started doing because I love the etymology of words. So I start
hmm
looking at where it comes from. The root word of authentic, author, and
oh,
authority, AUTH, is the Greek word for self.
really?
So for me, that became a mantra looking at how I develop leaders is that if you want to have authority, it's not about power, it's about internal. It's not about power externally, it's about power internally. How do I have that natural power that comes from being so comfortable in my own skin?
Yeah.
That's what authenticity is. And you want to be an author of your own
hmm
journey. That's the real deal.
Write
That's,
your
yeah,
story. You've heard the phrase, are you who's driving your bus? Who's writing your book? Who's writing your story?
right.
Absolutely. Don't let other people do that.
Don't let
That
other people do it.
that's why in the intro I had you're talking to women and coaching and counseling women and where men held the gear, meaning the gear shift, and
Yeah. Yeah.
it's time. Now what I'd like to do is find out about music. What is your favorite music? Any music, Jen, that talks to your life story, that has informed you, inspired you, something that has marked any milestones, or just your favorite playlist. It doesn't matter. Tell us about some of the music that matters to you. Go ahead.
Well, I have to mention the Grateful Dead because I've seen 84 shows. So, Hey Little Schoolgirl was the first song that my
84
buddy
shows.
Joel played for me in college. And we got really high. We smoked a lot of pot. And then he played this song for me. And I was like, he's like, listen to that. And we were just in the room listening to this music and I was hooked. So I've seen 83 Dead shows. I really have never seen any of the spin-off groups, but along that same track, CSNY, their original CSNY album, because I went to Kent State. So the song for
Oh,
Dead in Ohio, like that definitely shaped.
that,
And then what else did I write down? The Who, Slip Kids,
ooh,
because my first job out of college was directing a door-to-door environmental campaign for 2.5 years straight, 7 days a week. So the opening phrase of Slip Kids is get your clipboards, your textbooks, take me to the station, and we're off to a civil war. And so myself and the other people who were leading the teams, we'd do a dance break and put that on and have that. But like the majority of the music I love is blues and rock at the end of the day, and then funk as well. But Janis Joplin,
yeah.
Grace Slick, all those big voices, and those tend to be the kind of songs I like to sing, and dead
Tell me
songs.
some of the songs you like to sing. Give us some names, some titles.
Oh my gosh, anything by Bonnie Raitt, because we have a very
Okay.
similar kind of vibe. Give them something to talk about.
That was the
Angel from
theme. That was my talk show in New York.
Give
Something
them
to
something
talk
to talk
about.
about. I love
Just
that.
something to talk about. And because it was a public access studio, we were allowed to use that music in the intro because it was a nonprofit. So I could
Oh,
actually play her.
beautiful.
So they had a license for nonprofit music on a nonprofit. For licensed music on a nonprofit was allowed for a 501(c)(3). So we could actually use her voice. What do you think of that?
Wow, that's
Go ahead, tell me
extraordinary.
more. I didn't want to interrupt, but I got excited. Go
No, no,
ahead.
no. That's totally fine. Totally fine. That's what this is. It's a conversation. It's not
Conversation.
just
That's
me
right.
spitting into the
Conversation.
microphone. You
There
know what I
you
mean?
go. I know. We both got microphones, everybody. Look at this. Yeah. There's power in them, our microphones, right?
Exactly,
You can
exactly.
hear us.
So the kinds of things that I like to do are more big voice, so I can do a great rendition of Janis Joplin's "Me and Bobby McGee,"
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes Benz. I just did, and then there's a couple guys that I started playing with. We do an open mic locally, and they were like, "Hey, do you want to start like?" doing backup for us and start singing some of the lead vocals. I said, absolutely. So we were doing things like Stir It Up, Layla. We just did
Oh,
Gravity by John
oh,
Mayer, which was
oh
really,
my.
really fun. I want to do Change the World because one of the other stories from the Singer Songwriters Festival is I met the man who wrote the lyrics to Change the World by
Oh,
Eric Clapton. He's an 8-time Grammy Award winning
oh,
producer by the name of Tommy Sims. And you'll
oh,
get an email about it next Sunday.
lovely.
And so I
You
love
want to
that.
sing for us? You want to sing something?
No,
Okay. All
I
right.
haven't warmed up. I'm very sorry.
Okay. And you said
Oh,
you play with these guys. What do you play an instrument too?
well, my voice, a little bit of percussion, and I used to play the piano. So I have actually, this is really what I use to make sure I'm on key. I have my little baby
Disappeared.
piano, but it's really just to make sure I'm on key because the lower notes sometimes get away
Okay.
from me.
Did you know that I became a drummer about 5 years ago?
You happen to mention something about a drum kit, and I was like, hello, I
Yeah.
love that. Do you
I
know that drummers are the only people that are the real multitaskers?
I'm not surprised
You're
because
rewiring your brain when
that's
you
what
learn
it
to
takes.
drum because you're doing 4 different things. Isn't that
That's right.
crazy? I did
2 feet,
research
two
because I
hands.
was fascinated. I've a friend, my partner Jeremy, his good friend Bill used to tour with Kenny Rogers and he plays the
Oh,
drums. And I
very
would
cool.
watch him and I'm like, okay, I don't know what just came to me. I'm like, what? He's
Well,
doing
when I
four
went for
different,
my first drum
four
lesson,
different
I said,
limbs.
I don't know what to do with my hands and my feet. And they told me, put the foot here and put the foot here and the hand here and hold the sticks. And it took a while to do the coordination. I was the drummer and MC for a 12-piece Motown cover band in the community I lived in Durham, North Carolina. And I was up on the top riser and we had a guitar and a bass. We had a woman who played keyboard. I don't think we had any horns. And then we had three singers on mics out front, and we did shows for the community. And I was the MC as well from my perch. I had a microphone, and
I love that.
it was a lot of fun, really. And I did open mic night. I did open mics at a place called the Corner Tavern on Thursday nights, and I would go. I was very shy about it, and somebody who knew me from the school where I was taking lessons signed me up. She signed, and all of a sudden they said, "Red, is Red here? You got 3 songs?" And I said, "Oh my!" And the red drumsticks, of course, were sticking out of my purse. And they said, "Come on up." And I did my first 3 songs. I had 3 songs prepared, but I was too shy. Yeah, right, me shy. We know that. Anyway, I did open mics for about 3 years in 2 different clubs in the Durham and Cary area. And Jen, it was just a blast. And
It's so fun.
I wasn't that great, but I was good. And they would say, "Who wants to come up?" And I did things like B.B. King. I did some of his songs, and I did uh, uh, oh, whatchamacallit? I'm trying to think of the song about the car. I did all kinds of songs. Mustang Sally, that was my theme song,
Oh yeah.
and and people would come up. We get a bass come up, and then two guitars would come up, and then somebody come up who could barely sing, but it was okay. And we get a keyboard, and they say okay, and I start the song. Do you know what? Sometimes my three, you get to bring three songs to an open mic, so I'd have three songs picked out. Sometimes my three songs went over 20 minutes. Now we're talking, it was summer. It was hot in this little tavern. I'm, of course, dressed in black tights and red boots and a beautiful sparkly sweater and jewelry. Everybody's in cutoffs and t-shirts. And there I am in all my glory with the jewelry and the lipstick and the whole thing. It's like, who's this creature? Anyway, they didn't want to stop. My songs went over 20 minutes sometimes, the three
But were you
songs.
singing the songs while you
I
were
was
drumming?
just playing the drums and they were singing and playing all the music around me. We had six, seven, eight people around me performing to
Got
my
it.
drumming. And I got to tell you, somebody said in the audience, somebody said, "We thought you were going to pass out." I said, "It must be 120 degrees back there." And I'm dressed like in the middle of winter, but I had my persona, my costume.
Yep.
And we just, they say, "Okay, what's your next song?" And I'd say, "Okay, no rehearsals or anything." And we just start next song. I did The Thrill Is Gone. I did Mustang Sally, and I did a couple of others. And
Oh,
we
I
just,
love
I
that. You
did the,
should come join our band because we need a drummer.
I'd love to. I'd love to. My drums are here in the house.
There you go.
Anyway, so that was your bringing back memories. But I want to tell you some of my songs because
Yes.
you've overlapped with me. I had so many songs. "You Don't Own Me" by Leslie Gore, and "I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar" by Helen Reddy. Me and Bobby McGee, Joplin's "Freedom's Just Another Word for Nothing Left to Lose." Isn't that our authenticity, Jen? Isn't that
Yes.
doing it my way? Okay. "Hit Me With Your Best Shot," Pat Benatar, "Respect," Aretha Franklin, "I Will Survive," hello, Gloria Gaynor, "New Attitude," Patti LaBelle, one of my favorites. But way back in the day, I was a dance teacher, disco, ballroom, Latin. Okay. And Donna Summer was big in those days, so you can dial back how many decades. And I'm so sorry she left us too soon. She was, I thought, a real talent. So I looked at her discography, and the songs that I like the most that she sang describe my life. And I'm going to take you through just a little list here. "She Works Hard for the Money." I always have. "Hot Stuff." I've never been a street walker in LA, but people have called me hot stuff in my day. "On the Radio." I still call this radio. I've been doing this, what, for 20 years now. "No More Tears," "Enough Is Enough." Wasn't that a duet, I think, with Streisand? Well, we've all had our tears, Jen, and we know that.
Yeah, we have.
And we look in the mirror and we say, "Enough is enough. I've had enough." "Last Dance." I don't dance in public anymore, but I sure did when I had a dance partner, many of them over the years and when I was teaching and exhibiting. "I Feel Love." Remember that machine, Giorgio Moroder with the "I Feel
Yep.
Love" sounded like she was on a, never mind. Anyway, and then I entered a disco Hawaii contest with my partner Michael many years ago at a hotel in Eugene, Oregon, and we danced to "Heaven Knows" from the MacArthur Park Suite. Donna Summer's rendition of the MacArthur Park Suite charted higher on the music charts than Richard Harris's original MacArthur Park Suite. Did you know
Wow.
that? Yes.
Wow.
And "Heaven Knows" started out with da 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 da. I came in opposite sides. We made our own costumes, hammered blue silk tops, and I had a black skirt 360 circle attached only at the waist. I was 97 pounds. I could get away with it. High heels, black stockings, and came in the middle, met in the middle. Michael lifted me up over his head and spun me around, and then death dropped to the floor, 6 inches above the floor, spun me right out of Saturday Night Fever, and the skirt opened up into a 360 disc above and then he set me on my feet, and we did our routine. We came in third in Disco Hawaii. Is that cool?
Whoa.
So those are my songs, and I really enjoyed Donna Summer's music, and I looked at her song titles, and I said, "This is my story."
That's your story. Can I tell you a cool
Yeah,
story about Patti LaBelle meeting her?
please, please.
So I'm in line to get on an airplane, and it definitely wasn't Southwest because Southwest doesn't have first class. So it was some other airline, which I rarely
Excuse me.
ever
Okay.
travel.
Um,
And so I'm waiting to take my seat and we're going through first class. And I look to my left and there's Patti LaBelle just sitting there looking at everybody as people are walking on. And I said,
I love you.
I'm mouthing the words, "I love you." And she did one of her winks at me and like blew me a kiss. And I was like, Oh my God. Of course, my seat was the last row, and I just have these big eyes, and I sit down and I look at the guy next to me, and I was like, did you know Patty LaBelle is in first class? And he goes, who?
Don't even.
Ah, ah.
Don't even.
It's the same time I was behind George Clinton from George Clinton and P Funk at the airport. And I'm looking at this guy and I'm talking to a buddy of mine, my buddy Scott. And I'm like, Scott, I think George Clinton's in front of me. Do you think that's George Clinton? And he goes, I'm on the phone. So I'm
Classic.
sort of just gaga over this guy. And I go to, there's no place to sit. I'm sitting down, I'm reading my book. He walks by. I'm like, Mr. Clinton, may I have your autograph? And I tear off the back cover of the book and hand it to him. And he draws me a dog. Hey, dog. And he's like, sure. And goes on his way. Yeah,
Oh,
I
I
know.
I was a stringer reporter for the Improper magazine and a Long Island Entertainment magazine where I got a press pass and I got to go to the Westbury Music Fair, which was one of the biggest venues on Long Island, theater in the round. And I did a report on Johnny Mathis, on Neil Sedaka, on B.B. King, Joan Rivers, all kinds of comedy legends, the Smothers Brothers, but Patti LaBelle was in concert and I got to go. And I wrote a story and did all my own photography sitting in the 14th row aisle seat in one of the aisles because it was theater in the round. They always gave me that aisle seat, press pass and all. And I had a Kodak DX 6490, I think it was, a regular camera, and I didn't turn on the flash, and I could, a digital camera, and I could actually take perfect pictures from the 14th row, my aisle seat, without bothering anybody. And I used my own photography in the articles. And I have a picture of Patti LaBelle on the stage with a pink boa that comes all the way down on both
Oh,
sides.
that's fabulous.
So that's my story. But I want to tell you that I got a picture of Joan Rivers sitting cross-legged on the stage. You know, she had her notes with her jokes on the floor, I understood. And I have a picture of the bottom of the sole of one of her shoes while she was sitting there talking to the audience. I got that picture. But the pièce de résistance, I'm getting off the Patti LaBelle story, was Johnny Mathis. And they asked me to interview him. And one day the phone rings as scheduled. This was before cell phones. And
And
I had
his velvety voice was on
I
the other
had a
end.
recorder and I asked his permission to record. I went through two little cassette tapes in my recorder that was hooked to the phone with his permission. It was 9 in the morning, my time, New York, and he was at 6 in the morning. And the phone rang and a voice said, "Hello, this is John Mathis. Is this Bonnie?" I thought I would go. We talked for over an hour. And that was when American Idol had just started. And I said to him, there's a brand new TV show called American Idol. Where people audition live in front of an audience. I said, do you think it'll be a success? And he said, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
We talked about everything. And then when I went to the concert, this was before the concert. I went to the concert and people were yelling out, "We love you, Johnny." And he was yelling back to the audience, "I love you too." That's the kind of person he was. And then I got to go backstage and meet him. And people had paid for backstage passes and all that. I got to meet him and I said, "Hello, I'm Bonnie. We spoke on the phone." And I cried. I just sat there and cried. I had grown up with him as a teenager with Chances Are and all that wonderful music. So,
Yeah.
anyway, I didn't mean to interfere with your Patti LaBelle story, but I saw her in person and
You're good. You're good. It's all
she was
good.
really something anyway. This is our conversation. So, let's move on now.
Okay.
We've got to go to the OTT off the top section of the show, and I'm going to pose some topics. You'll talk, and then I will share mine. First of all, I don't know if you can even answer this one because I think you have so many answers it would take up too much time. But first topic is your creativity superpower. What do you say it is? Do you have a name for it? Do you love it? Not so much. Is it good? Is it not so good? Talk to me. What's your creativity superpower? Because I know you have a
Creativity
bunch.
superpower.
I know you have a lot.
I would say it's my listening. I
Ooh.
can hear what isn't being said.
Ooh.
I can
That's
hear what people really want to say but aren't saying. And I can hear when people on the surface seem to be arguing, but I can hear they're talking about the same thing. And I usually raise my hand and say, I think we're saying the same thing. This is what I think we're saying. And people get this gobsmacked look and said, how did you know?
wow. Wow. That is quite superpower.
I think it's because I've been both working on myself for 45 years and have been meditating. And that really, and doing mindfulness work, which has you quiet
Yes.
the monkey mind, because most of us are usually listening and exactly.
Busy,
So,
busy, 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 busy.
yeah.
Interesting. I'd like to think that my superpower is getting people comfortable enough to talk to me, with me, come on my shows. I'm doing 8 shows a week. I'm getting people I barely know or have sometimes I've never met to come and talk to me, share
And
their
you're
life
fun.
stories. Yeah, share their stories, their life stories, and make them fun. And I give them the gift of the rhyming bio. I don't think anybody else is doing that. It just seemed to me, why not make it more interesting instead of, okay, I'm going to read 25 lines about your life, but why don't we
Right?
make it rhyme? And that way, everybody pays attention. Just everybody
I
pays
love
attention.
that.
Thank
I love
you.
that.
And so I think that's my super. Do you think
I think
that's my
so too.
superpower?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You have many. You have many. I do think that's your superpower. And I also had the thought I may pull out your rhyming bio and put it on my website because we're in the middle of doing it, of redoing it. And I usually have like if LinkedIn's your thing, here's a link to my LinkedIn profile, but let's go about this a different way. And I may have a little thing that I'm gonna talk to my team and say, what if we also added this? Or if you want to hear someone rhyme my story, here you go.
I will send you the clip. I don't send the text because it's the delivery. So I will send you the clip.
Yep.
Okay. I
Yep.
will make the clip. I'll go into iMovie and clip out the audio from that section of the video. I've done that for other guests, and I'd be very happy, very
Oh, I'd love
honored to
that.
have you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Good, 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 good. Okay. Now, okay, this is really important because you're a powerhouse. In my opinion, I think everybody who knows you feels that way. You have zest, you have verve, you have a life-giving spirit, Jen. You are just, you're alive and vibrant. I think I can say all of that. Okay, it all comes down to how do you start your day? I'm not talking about exercise or meditation or reading. I mean, what do you put in your body to fuel your day? Is it a drink? Is it a cereal? Is it an egg? Is
Oh,
it a what is it that starts your day and literally stokes the fire for you in your body to fuel your mind and your heart, if I can put it that way? What do you do? What
yeah,
do you
absolutely. Well, one thing I take out of my body is I use a neti pot every morning. I have for 2 decades. And if I
really
don't use it, like I use the neti pot and then I brush my teeth. And if I
tell
don't
people
use
what a
it,
neti pot is without getting too
okay, so a
technical?
neti pot, it's basically a way. And by the way, my allergist said the reason I haven't been on allergy medication my whole life is because I use that every morning. So you can either get a squeeze bottle or it's in like almost like a tiny teapot, and you put salt in there. There's packets that you get, and you have warm water and you pour it through your sinuses to rinse your sinuses. And if I don't do that, I feel dirty in the morning. It kind of wakes me up. That's like I put my contacts in. The next thing I do, and I have sworn by this for years, Owen, which is the name of the brand, only what you need. They did not pay me to say this. Maybe they'll send me some free product. They have a shake I drink in the morning, and I hate all the bottled shakes because it's the viscosity and it grosses me out. And then
Yeah.
it always has a weird aftertaste. And there's do for the most part, I find, except this one, which is their cold brew. So it is a
Oh,
cup of coffee and 20 grams of plant based protein and a ton of fiber. And
wow.
I drink that first thing in the morning after I take my blood pressure medicine. I take
Mm-hmm.
that with all my vitamins. And that
Interesting.
that is usually good. Like I'll do my workout, my meditation, blah, 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 get ready. And then I'll have like a cup of iced coffee and maybe oatmeal or a piece of toast or something like that. But that protein is usually enough unless I've had a pretty hearty workout. And then they have a powder and I add that to my own unsweetened almond milk with vegetables and fruits and make another smoothie later on.
Wow, that's a lot.
Highly
That's a
recommend.
lot of discipline. Interesting. Well, mine is much simpler. If you go to Food Lion here in the community where I live, I won't tell you exactly where, and you see a woman spending 15 minutes looking at the bananas and deciding how to find 9 bananas that are not speckled, that are not mushy, that are not black on the skin, that are not too green, but a little green on the top. Half of them would be on the greeny side, I call them, and half of them look like they're just about to be ripe, but not too ripe. That's me because I make a banana milkshake every morning. It's the first thing. I have a personal Hamilton Beach blender, the kind with the pulse button, go on and off. It takes about 12 ounces of liquid and it has a measured marking on the side, a little plastic thing you could stick a straw in, but I don't. You close the little top, the little hatch on the top, and I put in 8 ounces of 1% milk. Sometimes I cheat and put in a little bit of Breyer's old-fashioned vanilla ice cream if I'm in a really generous mood. A little bit of raw agave organic sweetener instead of sugar. I add half, depending on the size of the banana, a half or a whole banana. If it's a little tiny one, one. If it's a big one, half of that. I'll add a handful of frozen sliced strawberries, unsweetened. Sometimes I'll add a little dash of cinnamon, a little dash of ginger, and
Oh,
some days I add basically unsweetened Hershey's cocoa. Unsweetened, just the kind that just comes.
interesting.
Yes, so it'll have strawberry with a little bit of a chocolate flavor, or it just has the strawberry with the cinnamon and the ginger in it. I blend
I've
it.
never thought about that's why you're so spicy.
It could be,
I've never thought about cinnamon and ginger. That's
but
interesting.
I recently turned it into a meditation session, and I didn't even realize this. I was doing this for a while ago. I have two grandpuppies who live a couple hours away. While I'm pushing the button and blending it, I say their names and I wish them a good day. Then I say my daughter and her husband's names and I wish them a good day, sending it home.
Aw,
And then my son and his wife, then my two granddaughters, and one just got engaged, so her
mazel
fiance.
tov.
Thank you. And then I do one for, I just say, all my friends who are in need of something, help or special. And I just, in a blanket, I just put out that. And then I say, and I need some thoughts too. And I say, and Bonnie D, that's me. I'm the last one. And then I finish pulsing the shake. And then I take the top off and I rinse it out because you don't want the little stuff to get in the little grooves there. And then I have a reusable plastic straw that I use, one of those long pipe cleaners on a metal thing. I clean it inside out and wipe the outside down. And then I take the container, bring it into either the living room or into my office here, put the usable straw in, and I drink it while I'm working or while I'm just sitting. And that's my morning routine. What do you
I love
think?
that. It's like a gratitude shake.
Yes. Yes, it is. And I just realized recently that I've turned it into a
I
session.
love
And
that.
I'm not distracted. I'm not looking around. Oh, is the stove clean? All that. I just stand there and I say, here's two. And I name the people and I pulse a couple times. And
Oh,
isn't that interesting? I
that's great.
just,
I might have to. I'm going to do that too. I love that you kind of have the gratitude and the prayer for your friends and family, and then for
yeah,
yourself. You know,
I feel really good about that. I
I
do.
love
Let me
that.
see. Yeah, I want to go to the next part of the show and I'm looking. I need some music for this, so just bear with me for a second
Sure.
here. Let me see what we've got. Okay, let me see what we've got here. Okay, I gotta get this. Okay, hold on one second, Jed. Hello? Okay, yeah. Hi. No, yeah, you know who this is. You call me all the time. I'm on live streaming with my good friend Jen Coken. We're having a wonderful time. Who is this? Clint Eastwood? You want to talk to Jen? Wait a minute. Quentin Tarantino is there? Michael Bay is there? Christopher Nolan? Guy Ritchie? I hear a woman's voice. It's Shonda Rhimes? No. Michelle and Robert King? Are you kidding me? Hold on. Spielberg is there? You can't talk to Jen because I'm on the phone and she's here looking very gorgeous, by the way. All right, you want me to ask her a question? Okay. Jen, I'm going to repeat what they're asking. There are a lot of voices talking right now. They're asking, they want to make either a film or a TV show with a character based on you, but not your biopic, a character modeled after who you are, your life, your pizzazz, what
Yeah.
you've done, what you think. And they want you to choose the director. No, they won't. The 20 who aren't chosen won't feel too badly. They want you to pick the genre. Do you want action, a drama, a musical, a fantasy, a romance, a comedy, a sci fi, a thriller, a time travel? They want you to pick the lead actress who would play that character based on you. But again, it's not your biopic, it's
Right.
something else. And they want you, so pick a director, the title, the actress, and maybe some of the cast. So, all right. Can I call you all back when we're done? I really don't want to interrupt anymore because I'm having such a good time with my friend Jen. Okay, we'll call you back. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Oh, Lorne Michaels is there too. Lorne, congratulations on SNL winning at the Emmys, whatever you won. And I'm sorry John Oliver took an award away from you. There you go. Okay. We'll talk to you soon.
Ah.
Bye. He's 80. Did you know that? Anyway, okay. So, Jen, I'm sorry for the interruption, but they do that once in a while on my
They
show.
do that once in a while.
They do. So, what do you think about you? I read your bio, a rhyming version of it, and there's so much that a character could be based. First of all, movie or TV? Which one?
TV series,
Good. Okay. Uh,
Shonda Rhimes,
I'm in love. Okay.
dramedy, like a drama comedy, Hannah
Okay.
Einbender. Hannah Einbender from Hacks, the young
Yes.
woman from Hacks, who is
And
Lorraine Newman's daughter. Hello.
Get Out. And you know, she
Yeah,
just won Best Supporting Actress in a
I
comedy.
do indeed.
I saw that. I saw that. Her getting off stage was a little dicey. They didn't bleep her, but yeah,
Yeah,
but she and I'm a fan of hers and Jean Smart. I watch
she
Hacks.
is really smart. She's really
Very,
smart.
very, very. And Hannah can look happy, she can look sad, she can look
She
desperate.
has such a range of emotion.
She
That
does.
woman has
She does.
such a range of emotion.
And what's the title of this TV show and how many episodes in a series are you going to do? Are they going to do?
Oh my God. Eight. We'll do limited first, like a White
Okay.
Lotus, but then, like eight, and then we're gonna
Okay.
come back with it. So I think eight. And I don't know what the title would be.
Could it be the title of your first book?
Oh yeah, When I Die, Take My Panties. There you go.
What a
There you
title.
go.
What
By
a
the way,
title.
a thunderstorm just crashed down. You can't hear that in the background, can you?
No. Nope.
Perfect.
Nope, not
My
at all.
screen door's open and I'm like, okay, I'm just
You
gonna
want to go
mop up the
close
water
it or
after the
you want
you
to
don't
go close
mind?
it? No, no. I'll
All right,
do
let me turn off
something.
my video and my audio. I'll be right back.
All right.
Hold the
Okay.
fort. It'll take me two
Hold the fort.
seconds.
Okay. Jen is going to go get the storm out of her house, and this is Bonnie D. And we're just taking a break here. This is We Dish TOO Saucy Dames, Bonnie D, and my special guest, Jen C. Jen Coken. And I haven't seen her in several years. I'm very happy to have her back with me. I invited her because she's such a special, vibrant human being, and I thought it would be fun to talk to her. We've already talked about her creativity superpower, and I would say to all of you, is listening one of your superpowers? Listening and really hearing what people are saying between the lines, after the lines, before the lines, what's really going on. And she calls it authenticity. I call it real deal. And she's about to come back. I was just explaining about authenticity and
Oh, thank you.
telling people to think if they have the superpower of listening. I was just adding that
Oh,
to the conversation here. So, okay. Well, I think it's time. Oh, mine would be a sitcom. It would be modeled on Reba McEntire's Happy's Place, which is her new series. If you haven't seen it, it took a couple episodes for me to get into it, but I really like it. Each character is so well honed, even the ones who don't say much. But when they speak, when they do their lines, you just are embraced in the character. They're well developed. Melissa Peterman. It's a bar that she inherited from her father named Happy, and all of a sudden a woman walks in with an MBA, and she turns out to be the unknown, long lost half sister that she
oh,
didn't know her father had a oops with somebody, and yeah, and she has.
oh.
Oh, I'm all choked up here. Anyway, it's a really cute. It's a really cute. But Reba's red. Redhead, like me.
Right, 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 right.
So excited, I'm joking. And it would be a sitcom with some interesting characters, but it wouldn't take place in a bar. She would play the lead character because I'm a big fan of Reba. Or Bonnie Raitt could do it too. I love her streak. I'm really getting excited here. And mine would take place in a classroom, and I've done this in real life, where people are learning or selling things on eBay. And each week, the characters would be people bringing things to a workshop where they're going to post things on eBay. And it would be the backstory of the item, of the person, and the people in the room would be the wannabe, the supposed or fictitious buyers of that item. And they would take different roles of why they want it, and I did this when I was teaching eBay selling and buying years ago at Great Neck Adult Ed in New York. And I would tell everybody in the class they would have a different role. And I created, Jen, these little fictitious scenarios, these sketches to keep people awake because I taught from 7 to 10 p.m. and my students were doctors and lawyers and women who had jobs and all kinds of jobs and librarians and mothers, and everybody was tired, but they came to class. I had six PCs, six PC lab. They each had their own PC to do some work on. And I would, in order to keep them awake, I would say, okay, Jen, what do you want to sell today? And you say, oh, I have this pair of wonderful Christian Louboutin shoes that I only wore once and they're purple and I don't know what to do with them and I don't go to parties where I wear purple, blah, blah, blah. And then I would say to Bob in the back row, Bob, you know that your wife or your girlfriend or both really want to have those shoes and we have to talk about what you're willing to bid. But Mary sitting in the other side of the back row, she wants them because she needs something to go with the purple dress in her wardrobe. And then I would create this sketch with all of them taking part, and I would have them talking to what they were doing to
I
get
love
that
that.
item. And how would this person, how would they sell it? How would they describe it? How would they put text into eBay to get these people and what category they put? So I used it as a teaching tool. I made this stuff up. I just made this up on the spur
I
of the
love
moment.
that.
So that would be the basis for my sitcom. What do you think?
I love it. I love Antiques Roadshow.
Oh,
I love it because I love the stories behind the objects and people describing them and where they got them and then the reveal of what it's worth or not worth. I've always loved that show. So it kind of reminds me of that. But I also love the fact that you created sketch comedy as a teaching, this is, yeah, as a vehicle to teach
yeah.
people.
Well, I walked into Adult Ed. I knew Rana, who was the woman who was running it, and I said, "Hey, I'm between jobs and I'm selling a lot on eBay, and I think I have enough knowledge to teach it." I said, "You have an opening for me?" She said, "We just got rid of the guy who was teaching it. We've got a class already filled with 6 people. It starts in 10 days. Do you want it?" I said, "What?" She said, "I know you, Bonnie. I think you can do it." So I went home and wrote a quick curriculum, and I showed up 10 days later and started teaching. The class was sold out over and over and over for
That's so
years.
fun.
It was, of
That's
course, there
so
were only
fun.
6 seats in the class, but that's okay. I had an overflow. I had an overflow, people waiting to get into that class. So that was a lot of fun. So, okay, we have done our off the top. And now I think it's time to go to. Now, in order to do this next part of the show, Jen, you have to be able to repeat after me with a certain tone of voice. This is
Okay.
very, very important. We're going to do the say what part of the show. Can you say that?
Say what?
Pretty good. One more time.
Say what?
Okay, you're in. Good. We can do
Okay.
that now. I'm going to let you go first. Do you have stories you want to talk about, stories you want to show? The sharing button is open on Zoom. I'm going to show mine, but you can just talk about yours. So why don't you go
Okay,
ahead?
we'll try the sharing button. Let's hold on.
Okay.
Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can. Oh yeah, this one works. So we're going to start here
And then go to
and did
screens
it.
and then document whatever you want to do
Yep,
or
here we
desktop.
go. Okay,
Here we go.
so this cracked me up because I use the library all the time. In fact, my first job after
We're not seeing
okay,
it yet. We're waiting it.
we're waiting for it. We're waiting for it. Okay.
Yes.
My first job at 13 was working at my local library, gluing sensors into magazines so that when people went through the metal detector, we would catch them trying to steal the library's magazines.
Get out.
Right. So this cracked me up. So the library book was returned after 82 years because this woman died. And the note says, Grandma won't be able to pay for it anymore. Would you be willing to waive the fees? And the other thing that I thought was really interesting was it's called Your Child, His Family, and Friends by a marriage and family counselor. So I loved that this, didn't return it for 82 years. So whatever, I can't really math very well, but you got to figure it was the 1940s
Yep.
that this woman or 60s that this woman got this book and was interested in finding a book to help her kids and kept it. She must have liked it, I guess. I don't know.
That is really cool.
Yeah,
Really, really cool. I love the picture. That's great.
me too. All right, now here's you want to do my other two. So here's the next
Yeah.
one. All right, these folks were going through a car wash, and we're like, we're gonna buy a Powerball ticket on impulse and won $1 million.
What?
Yeah,
What? Where's the car wash? Illinois.
in Illinois,
I see.
spur of the moment car wash. They decided. See, all these all these
Yeah,
leggings are coming up. Now you know what
I
I've been
see.
talking about, and you know who
Yes.
knows. Yeah. So he bought the ticket on August 9th, the Exxon Mobil station on South York Road in Bensonville, basically going through the wash because at Exxon, you can you get a little bit of a discount if you say you're going to wash the car. And so he decided to do that, and he won. And look, wife and 3 adult children. And this is that Powerball ticket where they won like a gazillion million bajillion dollars, right?
Mm.
And then this final one cracked me up too, which is hopefully it'll come up, but it's basically there was a cheating scandal in a stone skipping stone skipping. I'm just going to talk about this since it's taking a minute.
Okay.
Stone skipping competition. And the cheaters were found. This particular competition was in Scotland. And the reason they were caught cheating is because when they're skipping the stones, they have to be natural. And they found that some of the stones they were skipping had been smoothed by a machine
The
of
nerve.
all things.
The nerve.
Oh my God. Say
Artificial stone.
what?
Say artificial stone intelligence.
Artificial stone talent.
I had to
Yeah.
say it. I
Yeah.
had to say it. Did you come up? Can you show the article?
It didn't come up. It
It
didn't
didn't
come up.
come up.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much. I love
You're
the
welcome.
stories and thank you for having them ready. I'm going to show mine. Let me go to share and let me go to screens and let me go to let's see. Here we go. The document. And let me hit share. And it works. And you should be able to see you seeing my document? There we go.
Yes.
It's coming up. Okay, there we go. So we call a lot of things French. French kisses, French fries. We call a lot of things French. So this is an article written by one of my favorite authors. She's a researcher, Rachel Gresh. I have some other people. Bennett Kleiman writes. These are types of articles I get in my Nice News and that kind of newsletter I get every day, and they're very interesting. So she says, along with the Norman conquest about 1,000 years ago, became the intermingling of French and English languages. So we have French words. Jen, we know baguette is French. Ballet comes to French. Bureau, right? A
Yep.
dresser or an organ. Boudoir, boutique,
Yep. Yep.
beret, bon
Yep.
voyage. We know that. But there are things that we've attached French to that maybe have nothing to do with French. So let me just go through a couple of these. I love etymology, and I know you said you do too. French fries. Okay. There were villagers in Belgium in 1680. It was a harsh winter. The river froze over, and some of the villagers apparently used some oil to fry potatoes instead of fish because they couldn't get fish out of the frozen river. Well, along came a culinary historian, and he said, nope, fat cost too much. It was too rare. Nobody was wasting it on potatoes. It came from the street peddlers who were cooking it in some kind of oil in their street carts. Okay. Then we have another version of the story. I'm getting there. World War I, American soldiers went to Belgium and they enjoyed what they called French fries because in south of Belgium, they spoke French. So the
Oh,
reason it's French fries in a sentence, I have it capped here because I'm capping this part of the story, is because we're not talking about the language, we're talking about a culinary style. So
yes.
to French the fries. Did you know Belgians are trying to reclaim the honor, and there's a UNESCO petition, I kid you not, to include the fries on Belgium's list of intangible cultural heritage.
Say what?
I know, I know. And in French, the fried potatoes are called frites. Okay, frit. Okay.
Yes.
Now, French
Pomme
kiss,
de
I'm
frite.
not going to get in too much detail here, but the phrase French kiss was first recorded in English in 1923, and the French may in fact take credit for this one. They say that Americans serving in again World War I picked up the habit from canoodling. Okay, say what?
Canoodling.
With their more expressive allies dubbing the action. We'll just leave that one alone. French toast. Here's one we're going to talk about before we go to the next story. Egg dredged fried brunch staple is
Delicious.
from
Rome.
Rome. Yes,
Oh,
it's not French. The
say
earliest,
what?
I know, you're good. The earliest recipe of egg soaked bread fried in oil, called aliter dulcia, meaning another sweet dish, dates to a 4th century Roman cookbook called Cooking and Dining in Imperial Rome. I don't think that's what it was really called. Centuries later, Roman bread, pain à la romaine, became popular in England and France. The name shifted to pain perdu. Perdu means lost bread. That's stale bread. Before you throw it out, use it in the French toast, which actually works really well. The recipe came to America in the 17th century because the British and French colonists came over and brought it, and it became French toast in 1660. Now, there's a story that says there was an innkeeper named Joseph French, isn't that ironic, in upstate New York, and he had the dish listed as French toast instead of French's. His name, apostrophe S, possessive Jen, French's toast on
Oh,
the menu in 1724, and it got recorded that way. So he just said, we have French toast. He meant French's toast. Okay. French
wow.
exit. Have you ever done a French exit?
Let's see. Without saying goodbye, I thought that was an Irish exit.
That's what people think. Well, French exit is called a French leave, mid 18th century, customary to leave a
I've
gallery,
done
an
it.
opening
I've done it.
without telling the host. You don't say, "Oh, bye, Mary. Thanks, great party." You just slip away, and it's called filet à l'anglaise to take English leave. In America, Irish goodbye. There you go. But they call it a French exit. And then we have French vanilla. It is a type of ice cream that did originate in France. Its traditional French vanilla ice cream includes egg yolks as the base for the cream, which traditional vanilla ice cream does not. I don't buy eggy vanilla ice cream. It results in a rich, creamy texture like a custard, and it's yellowish, and it has a strong vanilla flavor. And French vanilla, we know, is popular for flavors for coffee and other beverages. So those are our Francophiles. Now, I have another food story. This is an article that appeared in the Wall Street Journal written by a lady
What?
named Julie Werno. And she said, I was invited to a wedding sponsored by Hellman's. Okay, here's the deal. A couple got married in a chicken tender dip themed wedding in Las Vegas, officiated by the Hellman's mascot, Manny Mayo. I didn't even know there was a Manny Mayo, and they agreed to it. They were winners. Nick Phillips and Heather Schroering were winners of a Hellman's wedding contest package, which included a ceremony, a full reception, food, a professional photographer, and $5,000 to cover their expenses. They described themselves as condiment sommelier. Usually say that for wine. And the wedding was on brand for them. In fact, during their proposal, the ring was hidden inside a ramekin, a little cup of sauce. It didn't say whether Hellman's was in the sauce. They are not Miracle Whip people. Jen, I grew up with Miracle Whip in the house. We never had Hellman's. They were notified on July 2nd that they won the contest, and the wedding was set for 19 days later. They had less than 3 weeks to prepare. But mayonnaise brand, Hellman took care of all the logistics. One of their
Wow.
friends reported on it. That's the author here in the Wall Street Journal. And the headline was A Giant Tub of Mayonnaise Married My Friends. Hellman's had
Okay.
a, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, here's why I love this because that whole piece of French fries in Belgium, they dip the fries in what? Mayonnaise.
That's it. Yes.
Great segue. I know you
Yes.
planned that.
I absolutely did. I could have told you that in just a second if you let me finish. Everyone had to sign a waiver agreeing to waive their moral rights. I thought that was funny. The
Moral rights? What does that
moral
even mean? Moral
because I
rights.
don't know, something about seriously getting married by mayonnaise. They originally had a dress code sending guests a palette or a palette fringe of Hellman's colors, but they didn't end up caring about it. And when marrying, Manny Mayo said, let chicken tender dip and chicken tenders, like chicken tender dip and chicken tenders. Marriage is a beautiful union of two special flavors that just work together. The
Oh,
audience erupted in, oh, I don't have my sound effects on because I'm on the screen share. The couple later read their actual vows at Chippendales. I thought that was interesting. And I have one more. Do you know why we call them jeans?
no.
Well, you're about to find out. Blue jeans are iconic American fashion, workwear. We all know that. Blue collar professionals, miners, ranch hands, everybody had jeans. It actually goes back to the 15th century. Italy and France were at the forefront of fashion, lending materials and ideas to designers around the world and have influenced fashion lingo. One example is the word jeans, which, despite we think it came from America, it comes from a French term for fabrics produced in an Italian city. Here we go. In the French term Jean Fustion, Fustin, Fustin, jean refers to the Italian city of Genoa or
Oh,
Genoa, known for producing a popular type of twilled cloth in the 15th century that the French referred to as fustian. Therefore, Jean Fustian is what the French call a sturdy cotton cloth made in Genoa, Italy.
wow.
So the singular jean instead of jeans first entered English in the mid 15th century. It referred to the cloth, not a specific garment like pants. However, jean was used to make workwear, including durable pants. The plural jeans came about thanks to English speaking sailors. When they arrived in Genoa, we're getting back there, they were introduced to this sturdy, attractive workwear that was dyed blue with indigo, which was a popular color at the time. The Genoese workwear became anglicized as jeans. The modern version of jeans became popular in the mid 19th century in part due to, no surprise, Levi Strauss or Levi Strauss. Additionally, originally these pants were officially known as waist overalls. Did you know that, Jen?
No.
Waist overalls. That was the first
Waist
name.
overall.
Yes, Levi Strauss and Company notes it wasn't until the 1960s that the colloquialism jeans had a resurgence and it became the norms. Meanwhile, there's one more part to this. While the term was borrowed from jean fustian, the earliest Levi's were made of denim, a sturdy fabric like the genuine fabric, but not the same. And get this, the word denim is derived from the French serge, the fabric denim. It's a part of France, Nimes. It's a place. A
Oh,
woven fabric manufactured in Nîmes, France. We don't say the S. By the 1860s, de Nîmes from Nîmes was anglicized as denim.
interesting.
Shocking and amazing. There you
Say what?
say what? Absolutely say what? Okay, we have one more part to our conversation. I am really enjoying this. I hope you are, and I think you are.
Absolutely.
Okay. Young person comes in, probably a young woman, and she says, I saw Jen on your show, Bonnie D, and I would love to know what would she mentor or counsel or guide me? What would she tell me how I could be a saucy dame, not just a saucy dame, but a TOO in cap saucy dame like Jen? What would Jen say? So, Jen, I'm passing along this hypothetical young woman who is probably standing outside my door right now, and she, I want to talk to Jen. So, what would you tell her?
I think it comes back to what we started the show with, which is authenticity. It's the real deal. That's what makes you saucy because when you are connected to who you really are, and I always say what other people think of you is none of your business.
Say that again.
What other people think of you is none of your business. What
I love that.
you think of you, make that your business. And I don't
I
mean
love
business as
Mhm.
in, business, but
Yep.
that's what you should be concerned about. So I think it's figuring out what you're passionate about. I used to joke and say my 50s were my F it 50s because it got to that point when I was finally in my 50s. I just didn't care.
Mm.
And I shed. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we all have to go through those moments and we get to that decade. And for a lot of people I've talked to, it's either in the 40s or 50s. You just get to this point, you're like, it's so not worth it to care what people think.
Mm. You think
Yeah.
it comes with, I'm going to use this word boldly, maturity or
Yeah. Wisdom.
years? Comes with
Yeah,
wisdom and years is that don't care. Yeah, that's a very hard lesson to learn. Very, very hard lesson
it
to learn.
is. It
Thank you
is.
for that.
You're
I'm going to give
welcome.
us a round of applause in a second. But when people come to me, and I have mentored some women in workplaces over the years, I like to say, if you see a little bit of light coming through a closed window, whether there's a curtain on or not, a little bit of light, a little bit of air, push that window open and see what's on the other side. It might be something exciting, something inspiring, something new, something adventuresome, adventurous for you to try. Look at all the careers I've had and Jen has had. We didn't stop and say, oh, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. It was like, what am I going to do next? Well, that looks interesting. Let's go do it. Okay, there you go. And the other thing is that if there's, and I think Leonard Cohen put something like this in one of his songs, if the door is a little bit open, we call it the crack in the door. I say, put your foot in that door and shove that goddamn door open and see what's on the other side because it might be the start of something new and fun and interesting, or maybe a different way for you to figure out who you are and who you
Yeah.
want to be. Don't be shy. Look on the other side of the door. Take a look.
Yeah.
If you're in a murder mystery like I watched, though, be sure you have a weapon with you in case you hit somebody over the head if they're on the other side of the door. But I'm going to do a track here for, let's see if we can get some Jen Coken. Absolutely wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for being my guest. And let's play the outro music and then we will call it a day. So
Thank you so much for having me.
My pleasure. Let's dance our way out. Thank you to
So you
Sir
wanna
Kaufman
be
for singing my song. You want to be a cool kid? How about being a saucy dame? Hanging with the insect. We are the insect. We're not the insole, we're the insect. Cool is fine. Casting your net.
So you wanna be
Drum roll. Bop, 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 bop. Thank you very much, Serge, Jen. It's been lovely. Wave goodbye.